Extraordinaires! Class of Corona 2020. COVID-19ers. This is quarantine day number 3005, right? That's what it feels like. Slightly delirious. Just know that I'm sending you all my love, your family, all my love, to friends, family, to anyone, my brothers and sisters, all of you. Just know that I'm with you the same way that I know that you're with me. Breathe, breathe, breathe. That's all we can do. Or maybe we could work together on making some future plans. Hence this episode. So welcome to Extraordinaires podcast, the COVID Affairs Conscious Conversations series. This is a place that I'm trying to pack with helpful advice from extraordinaires and experts for you during this time. I want to say a special thank you to my viewers for reaching out and sharing your thoughts with me and for sharing your needs, what you need support with in this time. Many of you have requested some specific support surrounding your businesses, how to breathe life back into them, how to reinvent your business plans now that everything's turned upside down. Maybe you need to start a new business, create something new to support your family. I get that. So I'm happy to say that the perfect extraordinaire to help you with these issues is right on the other end of this Zoom line. So allow me to introduce him to you a little bit so you know that you're getting legit advice from a tried and true business guru. RAJ Sundra, he is the founder and CEO of a company called Transformative Business Consulting. This is a company that he started a while back. It does business strategy, project management, personal transformation, and consciously crafted culture to support companies in what he terms sustained, easeful, rapid scale. He has a passion and a master's in mechanical engineering and minors in educational psychology. He has a mind to build structures, and he has a deep drive to inspire others to sex. Well, maybe that too. A deep desire to inspire others to success and greatness. You want to think of him kind of like a therapist for your business. He's quite remarkable. He helps you build a kind of visible work tree of milestones and next steps so that you and or your team have a clear step-by-step actionable co-created plan that keeps all of you impassioned and engaged, and he really goes out of his way to help make your work fun. To give you a better idea of his genius, Raj co-founded the $100 million company SPECK. You know SPECK. They make phone cases and MacBook accessories, right? Raj took that company from $0 to $22 million in just under 3 years. SPECK reached number 41 on Inc.'s 500 list of fastest growing private companies, and Raj did that. So now that everything is changing and our brains are kind of in a mire of a bit of worry and confusion, it's the perfect time to use his knowledge and his tools so that you can recreate your business plan. He has a free, for the moment, webinar that you can join. You can sign up, and we'll give you details on how to do that. It's called Pivot with Power and Possibility: How to Get Clear, Aligned, and Focused. Sounds good, right? I mean, heck, you could even use these templates to create a game plan for your family, your kids, your husband, your wife during this time of this new normal. We all need a game plan and a structure of how to move forward. And so he can scale it from just little old me to companies that have like thousands and thousands of employees. Raj is smart, he really cares, and he's good enough to give us his time to come on board and share his ideas with you. So please make very welcome extraordinaire RAJ Sundra! Crowd is literally going wild for you, Raj.
I love it. Great to see you, Teresa.
Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm doing, I'm a mix of things like everybody, I imagine.
Yep.
Trying to see what I can do to contribute to people and help them navigate the waters right now.
So happy you're here. I know everyone's kind of scrambling. People are out of work. They don't know what to do. They have to really come up with new ways to support their family and also rework, rejigger, reinvent their business plans, or even come up with new ideas for businesses. Like it's also a very creative time for people to be creating new things, and that's why you've been invited, and I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, what would be the first steps? Let's say someone who's got a business already and they need to know how to take it online or rework it. Like, what do people do to figure out how to, hit the ground running when all this blows over, or even hit the ground running like tomorrow?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, who knows when it is going to blow over, right? So we need to get proactive and clear on the pivot that we need to make right now. And that's why my wife, who's such a great namer of things, came up with the title of Pivot with Power and Possibility. As human beings, we have a really unique capacity to use all of our skills, our talents, our creativity to adjust, and what I've endeavored to do is put together a process to allow you to take all of your creative energy and pivot powerfully and create new possibility for really whatever you apply this process to, whether it's your business or any part of your life, your family.
Because you could make a game plan, right? Your family game plan. How do we
Totally.
stay together and productive during this time? Your template could go into anything.
Totally. Yeah. It's for anything that you need to get clarity and aligned, and then to actually move forward to fulfill on that.
I mean, I've been using your webinars with you so I can figure out how to make this podcast be something that might, at least be able to buy me some bread and milk every now and again would be nice.
Yeah.
Or beyond, dare
Yeah.
I say. So I found you
Yeah.
very helpful in that regard. So, shall we start then by what would someone's first steps be to, redefine from now where they're heading forward? Whether it's a new idea or a business that's already existing, it's like tearing away the outer onion and getting right to the core and like starting from scratch, right? From your real seed of intention.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a there's a variety of processes out there to take what is in your head and to put it on paper. So for one, it's clear and you can review it and tweak and refine it, and then actually take it from an idea and do the actions necessary to make it real. As humans, again, we have that unique capacity to make things up and then actually have them be real. And that's really why I designed what I do for a career, both to help businesses and people take whatever they can dream up and then actually figure out how to make it real.
And make
So,
$1 million companies in the long run.
yeah, or have a new hobby or
Oh, yeah.
have a tighter knit family, whatever you want. So, one of the key tools or methodologies for doing this is called objectives and key results,
Okay.
or OKRs is sort of the industry term for it.
Okay.
Objectives and key results. And it might sound a little techie or a little daunting when you first look at it, but it's actually just a super clear and easy to follow process once you know some of the basic parameters.
Yeah.
To do that. Take what's in your head, get it down on paper, massage it. So it's like, okay, cool, I can do this.
Yeah, got it. Okay. All right. Do you want to walk us through some?
Sure. So I'll start with just saying what an objective is and what a key result is so that you know the difference between those things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just probably say a little bit more to fill in some of the holes, and then maybe we could work with something that you're working on, right,
Just
Teresa?
know that Raj has these free webinars and they take, 90 minutes at a time. So we're trying to like really get it down to something bite-sized. I'm forcing you to do something that's bite-sized. So you'll go into far more detail when you join the webinar. So I'm grateful for you to kind of, make it defined. But yeah, I just want to let everyone know that you're doing this to make it quick.
Yeah, great. And for those, some of you might just be able to run with the information that we give you today. And if you want to join those other webinars, we'll let you know about that in just a bit.
Perfect.
Okay, great. So objectives and key results. So an objective is basically, what do I want to do? It's getting clear on what is it that I want to do, and then writing that in a clear, simple, inspiring way. And a key result is, how do I know that I've actually achieved that? It's measuring what the impact of your doing, the work, and then seeing, did I actually achieve the results that I wanted to achieve? because the last thing that we want to do, especially now, is put a lot of time and energy into something that doesn't yield the results that we wanted to.
Right.
Right. So there's this beautiful pair of objective, hey, what do I want to do? And key results. How do I know if I've achieved what I set out to do or not? And that doesn't mean just got it done. There's impacts that we want to have, whether that's raise, earn revenue or make a difference for somebody. Or again, if it's family related, maybe you feel closer together through all of this instead of, at each other and frustrated with each other.
And the dishes got done.
And the dishes got done, yes. And so objectives by nature don't have a measurement in them. It's like, what do I want to do? I want to, feel the most fit that I have in this year. I want to feel more fit than I ever have in the next 30 days. That doesn't have any numbers of any measurement. A key result would then be like things like, if you're worried about your weight, you could say a certain weight range that you want to get into with a number. It may even be a number for yourself, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how fit do I feel? So you want to put numbers to the thing that you say you're going to do that reflect if you've actually accomplished that thing and had the impact that you wanted it to.
And by a certain date, is that the quantitative part of it that comes next? By a date?
Yeah, you also want to have a time container. You can set for yourself how long you want these objectives and key results to be.
Right.
Sometimes we'll set a top level objective that is
like a number one objective?
It is the number one top objective, and it can be for the overall time duration.
Yeah.
So you could set a year, you could set 90 days, you could set a month.
I see.
Right now, I would recommend either 90 days or a month, because who knows where things are going to be after even a month from now.
Right.
And we also want to get into action quickly.
Yes.
And start seeing results quickly, because then it motivates us and inspires us like, hey, this is actually working, or hey, this isn't working. I need to pivot quickly again.
Yes.
And get going down that new direction.
Okay.
I'm actually launching 2 different kinds of webinars because I like using this methodology for either. Right now, my business webinar is active, but I'm also going to be putting together one for people's personal lives and family and that sort of thing. And the same principles apply. It's your choice, actually, Teresa, whatever you'd prefer.
Do the business one. I think that works. There's going to be people at home definitely listening to it going, I need to figure out how to get this show on the road.
Okay.
Maybe taking it online. Maybe we should do that. People trying to figure out how to take their businesses online.
Yes, it could be. If you're willing, we could use your business that you're looking to start right now as an example.
Sure.
Or starting, or yeah.
Yeah, and just put your own business on top. Replace my words with yours. Yeah.
Yeah, the process is similar. So
right.
Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is start with what we call a top level objective. Like, what's the overarching thing that I'm trying to do here that will drive other activities? And so it's kind of like your North Star. This is what I want. And as an example, just quickly from my own business, one of my top level objectives for this year is to create a business that I can shift up a level in, so that I'm able to do more of the things that I would like to be doing now and less of the things that I could be hiring other people to do. And there's always like a driver, like why? Why do you want to do that? And for me, it's I'm an innovator, I'm a visionary. And while I do love working with people, it doesn't give me enough time to do the other things that energize me more and allow me to move my business in the direction that I want to. And it's often helpful to get present to, well, what if I don't do that? Because it will take something to fulfill on your objective, right?
Got it.
And so the price for me is like just experiencing a certain amount of exhaustion because I'm not doing the thing that I should be doing in my business now. Also, it's being stuck at a certain level of scalability because I'm not able to scale because everything is dependent on me and my, a few other teammates instead of
Yes.
really getting this thing out there. And also, one of the biggest ones is I'm not able to have the impact that I want to.
Right.
So it is helpful to get clear on, like, if I don't do this, then what?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
sometimes we need that kind of motivation in addition to the inspiration of what we're excited to do. So let's look at your business, Teresa. So what
Okay.
are you trying to do if you were to look at, what do I want to do with this business? What would you say?
Okay. So, with this offering, this project, this podcast, this YouTube channel, I would like to create something that supported me financially and gave me a platform to help others.
Okay.
You mean even more than that. You want me to create something that's saying, I would like this business to, yeah, it's, I don't know what.
Yeah, so let's look at that for a second. I'm usually writing this down
I
as
can
we're
write it down.
talking. Okay, great. And I may type a note in the background here because I
Yeah.
like to see and work with the language.
This is
So
why
go
it's
ahead, say that
specific.
again.
So with this podcast project, this podcast and YouTube project, I would like to support myself financially and create a platform, a popular, well-known show that inspired others to greatness. Clearer?
Okay. Yeah, I'll read it back to you.
Okay.
Uh,
Because words are important, right? How you say it was something I got from you
Yes.
that was really special. Like, keep changing the words until it really hits a trigger.
Yeah, totally. And then you'll just feel like that's it.
That's it.
super clear. Yeah.
And it keeps you
And
inspired.
when it doesn't feel like it's that, it means just massage it a little bit more.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So you said with my podcast and YouTube channel, I'd like to support myself financially and create a popular, well-known show that inspires other people's greatness.
Yes. Okay. I like that.
Okay, great. So it answers the question of an objective.
Mm-hmm.
What do I want to do? I want to create this podcast and a YouTube channel. It's going to support me financially. It's going to be popular, and it's going to inspire other people's greatness, right? And so that's great. It ticks a number of the, say, top 5 criteria of an objective, and I'll just list those clearly. So,
Yeah.
And quickly. So the first one is that it provides value both to the business and to whoever might be purchasing your service, right? So this seems to do that, right?
Yeah.
And you might need to do some research. What do people want, and what's going to provide value?
Mm-hmm.
And you might start by checking in with your audience. Like, hey, what do you want? What would be valuable for you?
Got it.
Right? Because sometimes we don't know, especially now we may have these great ideas, in this time of both challenge and opportunity. But one of the biggest mistakes that business owners make is they put too much time into something without getting feedback from the marketplace.
Got it.
Right? And so you want to see if there's easy ways you can test out your hypothesis or your top level objective, right?
Right.
So you might, pick a variety of people and either send them a message or something and say, hey, would you find this valuable? And you might even say on a scale 1 to 10, how valuable would you find this?
Okay.
And if not at least an 8, what suggestions might you have for me?
That's a great idea. Okay. That's a great idea.
So that's just like a little about your hypothesis on what your objective is, right?
You're measuring
so
it right
value,
then.
That's the first one. The second, you're getting some feedback.
Your result. That's one of your results. Okay, copy that.
Totally. Actually, that is a key result. Yeah. And then, as I mentioned before, the objective is this word is qualitative, not quantitative, meaning it doesn't have numbers of measurement in it.
I see.
You could see in that statement that we read that Teresa created. So with Teresa's statement of, with this podcast and YouTube channel, I'd like to support myself financially and create a popular, well-known show that inspires other people's greatness. There's no numbers of measurement or anything in there. It's just a qualitative statement of what do I want to do?
Feeling.
The measures come in the key results, and you'll see that in a minute. Okay, so that's the second thing, that is qualitative. Okay, and the third thing is that it's inspirational, right? You really want it to inspire yourself. And if you have a team working with you, you want it to be inspiring to them. Inspiration is one of the awesome motivators that we have as human beings. And if your language isn't inspirational, because you could have said that in different ways, that's more or less inspirational. And so you just want to tweak it and refine it. You might even check it out with different people. Hey, does this like make your skin
Yes.
tingle, or like that, right? Or your own, or your team's.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the third thing, inspirational. The fourth thing is attainable. You want to make sure that what you create it's always going to be a stretch because you don't have it yet, right? So it's always a stretch to create something that doesn't exist. But you want to make sure as best you can that it's not an unreachable just wish or dream.
Can I interrupt?
Right?
If you're saying it's
Sure.
a 30-day, right, you call it a game. If it's a 30-day or a 90-day, I want to know that I can realistically attain that within the time frame I've created.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, there's actually different kinds of objectives and key results, committed and aspirational. If your objectives and key results are like, I really think I can 100% get that and go for it, we call that a committed objective and key result. If you are like, this is a wide-eyed dream and I want to try to drive toward it anyway, but, I may only get like 60, 70% there.
Okay.
That's also, it's great and it's different. We call that aspirational. So right now we may be more in the world of committed objectives and key results because we probably don't have a lot of luxury to be playing around with ideas to kind of move them forward, right?
True.
We really need to get and produce a result. So the last criteria for objectives is just that they're properly worded. We want them to be concise. We want them to be simple and clear. Positive language. Generally, they would start with the verb like create or produce or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And when it's written right with some of those key things, concise, clear, positive language, etc., that's what helps it really lock in and resound and being like, that's it.
It's a sentence, isn't it? It's not the whole mission statement. It's like an affirmation that describes exactly what you're going for and what you want your business to create. That goes boom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Great.
That's step one.
That is step one. And so again, the one that you created, let's just reference it again, is and I'll just put create at the front of that, but you could put a different word. Create a podcast and YouTube channel that supports me financially and becomes a popular, well-known show that inspires other people's greatness.
Great.
Okay, great.
In 30 days.
In 30 days, great.
Okay.
And so that's one of the things you do want to get clear on is what is the time frame of that objective.
Okay.
Now, if you were playing a 90-day game,
Yes.
like 3 months, you could say, I have a top level objective for the 90 days. And then you're starting to look at what am I going to do sort of in each month to get there.
Okay.
But just depending on how quick your needs are, depending on the current circumstances or how quick a turnaround you want, if it's your family life or whatever, I'd recommend a 30-day if you're trying to do a quick turn. If you're like, okay, we're in this for the next 3 months and I really think this is clearly what we need to do, you might set out a 90-day objective. Right. Okay.
Yeah, because if I really needed to use this, because we're out of work. So if there was any way that this could make some money, I would need to get real smart and I would break it down right with who I would need to contact, what projects I would need to do that were an offshoot of my objective so that by the end of 90 days, I had achieved my objective, which was to make my podcast support me.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So that's objectives. Okay. And one of the things that's helpful is you might find a friend, a partner, business partner, whatever, to read your objective to, and just ask them like, hey, is that clear? Is it simple? Is it inspiring? Is there anything missing that would make it land better? And just, push it back and forth a couple of times until it really lands for you. Yep. Okay. And again, just look for, oftentimes it's right there. Like we need to rely on our creativity right now. And that a lot of that stems from getting quiet and not being in fear and stress and anxiety. It's like you might even sit for a few minutes in meditation, 10, 15 minutes, even for 5, and just see what comes up, because that's where the real creativity comes from. That's where the real innovation comes from. When we're stressed and in fear and contracted, you're probably doing stuff that's very egoic based, and it probably will not have the result that you want it to. And you probably won't even enjoy doing it.
Yes, so, right. Tomorrow, let alone 30 days or 10 years.
Totally.
Yeah. Good
okay,
point.
Great. So any other questions that you think on the objective side might make?
We're clear on objective, right? Objective is make that sentence that makes you on fire. And it's clear. It's concise about what you want. Okay, I got that.
Yeah.
Got that.
Okay, beautiful. And in a moment, first I'm going to talk about key results, but after that, I'll say a little bit about how you take that objective and create an actionable plan around it, right?
Okay.
Because the objective is really just, hey, what do I want to do? It's not how am I going to do it?
Yes, which is the important part, right?
Yeah.
That old chestnut.
Yes, that's it. So let's talk about key results for a moment. So as we mentioned earlier, the key results tell us how do I know if I've actually achieved that outcome? That objective that I set for myself. Okay. And so key results by nature are quantitative. They have a number associated with it.
Got it.
Because you want to be able to measure, did I do that thing or did I not do that thing?
So I need to make $3,000 by... Right, you need to check in. Okay, by the end of the date that you assigned, did I achieve that? That's the measure. Okay, copy.
That could be one. Another could be how big do you want your audience to be. Another could be I want it to provide. You can get creative in these things. Like I want it to provide undeniable value of a scale of 9 out of 10, and so. To do that, you might ask at the end of one of your podcasts or have a little survey, like how much value did this provide for you?
That's a good idea.
And if it's anything less than a 9, tell me how it could be better. Because you're just guessing at what's going to be helpful for people. So if you can iterate and get feedback, then you can tune it pretty quickly.
Because if it's less than a 9, it means my pre-work was not enough. So I have to rework it and then do the poll again until I reach the 9. Keep tweaking, like you said.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that your pre-work wasn't enough. A great advisor of mine when I was in college at Cornell, he said to me, he was a great designer, and he said, if you've gotten it right the first time out of the gate and you've released a product into the market and it was a huge success, you've probably spent too much time in the design phase. You have to get something out quickly, get information. Is it what people want? Is it providing the value that they want? And then iterate. So sometimes we have this perception that it has to be perfect the first time coming out of the gate.
Yeah.
When you don't actually know because you're not like mind melded into every one of your end users'
Which is a shame.
minds, right? Yeah, it'd be great, right? If we had that.
So he's you promoting want to get mistakes. He's saying mistakes are fantastic.
Make mistakes. Totally.
Okay.
Great. Okay, great. So, so just a little bit more.
Then I'm doing it right. Then I'm doing it totally right.
Okay, great. Yeah, and it's hard sometimes, right? Because we're like, this is the idea, and everyone's going to want this.
Yes.
And it's one of the great things about urgency, which we have right now, is that we don't have the luxury of spending a ton of time in development.
Yes.
We need to get it out there. It needs to make a difference. It needs to make money.
Helpful. Okay, I get that.
It's super helpful to have urgency.
Cool. All right, great.
Yeah. And that's actually also what a 30-day or 90-day time frame also, it creates a false sense of urgency if there's not an external source of urgency.
It's great for procrastinators.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So let's say a little bit more about key results.
Okay.
So first of all, quantitative and specific. They need to be a specific measure so that you can actually say, did you actually reach that measure or not? So you can't measure, it needs to support my financial needs. Like what is your financial need, right? Yeah. So like you said, whether it's $3,000 a week, a month, whatever, get clear on whatever the specifics are of that quantitative measure. Okay. So that's the first one. Second one is, aspirational. This is a little bit different than objectives. We talked about aspirational and committed. You always want to stretch a little bit, right? But stretch within reason. So with your numbers, don't be like, I want to achieve a 5 out of 10 on terms of value that my customers get, right? That'd be kind of a low bar.
Got it. I can
So
do it.
you might not send a 10 out of 10 because like, how are you going to hit that right out of the gate? So something in the 7 to 8, maybe 7 to 9, like that.
Yeah.
And then in the next round, you can be like, all right, in round 2, I want to be at least a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Right. So set the bar high, but not so high that you're going to set yourself up for failure.
Fair.
On those measurements. The third thing is that that there's some ownership of this result, that it's actually like you're excited, you're motivated, you're owning it.
Okay.
Right. Sometimes we can be telling people what to do, like, hey, reach this number, and they don't own it. It's not like they're not taking it on as their thing to own.
Engagement and passion behind it. Okay, copy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, even just phrasing things in a different way sometimes might help someone own it more or get engaged more.
The wording is everything, right? It's everything.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's see. I'll just keep it simple then. The last one is just, again, worded properly. Concise again, simple and clear again, positive language again, all those things, right?
Cool.
So you don't want to read your key results and your eyes glaze over, like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Simple, short sentence with a very clear, specific measurement.
Okay. I can do that.
So let's do a little bit more. And you can have multiple key results. You probably should have 3 to 5 key results for your top objective. So you had one, which was
that sentence.
Well, let's see. So I'll state your objective, and then let's work on some key results. So your objective is create a podcast and YouTube channel that will support me financially and create a popular, well-known show that inspires other people's greatness. So what are some key results that would help you know if you're actually achieving those things?
So I've already achieved or created the podcast and the YouTube channel, but what I haven't done is made it popular or well known.
Okay.
So is that what you're saying? So in order to achieve that, how would I go about it?
Yeah. And then there's the other one of support myself financially, but you're doing exactly what you should be. You're picking apart your objective statement and you're like, how will I measure that? How will I measure that? How will I measure that? And you want to create a key result for anything that's either very clearly embedded in your objective statement, but then also think a little bit about it. What other things would show me that I'm actually achieving what I'd like to here? So we'll just work on it in a moment. So with regards to your popular and well known, what are some measures there that you'd like to hit?
So popular, I'm assuming that I could measure that by the amount of followers and subscribers I get.
Okay.
In that 30-day period.
Okay. Followers, did you say, and subscribers?
Followers and subscribers. So followers on the YouTube channel, subscribers on the YouTube channel, subscribers to the actual podcast, and followers on the social media platforms.
Okay, great. And so you should make those 3 different key results. Yep. You don't want to lump multiple key results into one line. So
do 3 separate key results. Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm. So you have followers, subscribers, and what was the other one? Social media?
Yeah, followers.
Engagement?
Yeah, so subscribers on YouTube, subscribers to the podcast, and then followers on the 2 social media networks that I don't know I don't know Twitter, but I'm doing Instagram and podcast and Facebook. So there's 4 separate?
Okay. Yeah. Each discrete one.
You're very specific. Okay.
Yeah, because you have to be, otherwise you can't measure. So just for fun, how many subscribers might you want after 30 days to your podcast?
And this has to be something that's attainable based on what I already know. Gosh.
A little bit of a stretch.
And a little bit of a stretch. I mean,
you can even think of what would be easy, what would be a super stretch, and then you can.
Okay, I like that. So it would be easy, would be, 10 or in 30 days though. Easy is like 30 or 50? 30?
Okay.
Surely. And then a stretch would be 500.
Okay.
So then something I could do, and I'm just guessing.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
okay, right?
Yeah.
Is in the middle. We'll say 200 just to play it safe.
Okay, great. Yeah, and you can also do things like set a minimum. I want to have a minimum of 50,
Okay,
and I'd like to stretch to 250,
got
something
it.
like that. And then you can play with this. I don't know if with the proper language. I
No
was using the
problem.
B word around like make the system yours.
Yes,
Don't feel a slave
of
to it, right?
of
If
course.
as long as you start, as long as you use the general principles, right?
So can I ask you
Okay,
the next step then? Instead
sure.
of it just would stay with the number one, we'll stay with trying to get 200 YouTube subscribers by the end of 30 days.
Okay,
What's the next breakdown for that? Like, what's my next breakdown? I just repeated
great.
it twice.
That's great. So you have your top level objective and you
Yeah,
have these top level key results,
that's a key
and
result.
you build out some of the key results more. But let's just say we're playing with what we have so far.
Yeah.
You'd be like, okay, well, what do I need to do to get that number of subscribers?
Okay.
And also, what do I need to do to achieve the outcome? Objective that I'm out to achieve here. So
Mm,
again, you can start. We call it chunk it down. You want to chunk down. Well, chunk down is kind of the next step after what I'm going to say. The first step is to kind of dissect your key result statement and your top level objective statement and just start thinking, what do I need to do to produce that?
yes.
So, like you were doing with the key results, you look at kind of each word, create the podcast and YouTube channel. So, like you said, you already created the podcast and the YouTube channel, but those could have been projects. And that's the
Right.
next layer. We
Got
have
it.
the objectives. What do we want to do? We have the key results. How do I know that I've gotten there? And then what do I need to do to produce those key results and objectives? Those are projects. Sometimes they're called initiatives.
So
So
every word could be broken down to a different project so that you can actually manifest with that word, create that reality of your
yes.
main objective. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And so, project one, and you can just write this stuff down on a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
In my webinar, if you attend that, we'll give you our free, what we call our OKR, Objectives and Key Results and Projects workbook. But, in lieu of having that, just write it down. So project one could be, and you want to have a title for it and then a description. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to play with set up YouTube channel. I know that you already did it. Mm-hmm. Another project is set up podcast. And so the title is just like kind of a top level placeholder, set up YouTube channel. We want to write a little description for it. Mm. So like, is it just any YouTube channel? Do you want to have some flavor to it?
I get it.
Like
What's
that.
my
So
branding?
how would you
think about my branding and my theme and my personality? Okay. I get that.
So do you want to give your project description a go, or shall I give you an example of a project description?
Oh, give me an example.
Okay. And so we're talking about projects now, and we have the title and then we have a description. So a description might be something like set up the back and front end parts of my YouTube channel. That includes, branding, visual branding and language branding. What else? Has a catchy name.
Yeah.
And what else? Yeah, I mean, those things. And then you also want a so that or in order to, to provide a platform for me to communicate my ideas and allow other people to learn from me or something to that effect.
Yeah, okay.
So an in order to or so that really helps you, again, be inspired by why you're doing this project, not just, I'm going to set up a YouTube channel, right? Okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. So you got a project title, you got a project description, and you just want to go through the different parts of your objective and your key results and just create the projects that you need to do to make those things become real and not just words on a piece of paper.
Yes, got it. All the way down to the nth. right? Even though you're doing a 30-day, the way I see it is that I would need to almost then calendar each day. Then today I'm going to call, John Fogelty from what's his face so that I can make that happen, right?
Yeah, you can get to different levels of detail.
Okay.
At one level, we're just writing the project description and the project title, project description.
Get way ahead of myself. Yep.
Yeah, no, you're great. You're actually right. All that. Different people like different levels of structure.
Yes.
So some people might be motivated just by having that description and then having a couple of milestones. Like by week 2, I should have my YouTube channel branding and language and the back end mechanics set up, right?
Yeah.
By week 3, I want to do a test drive on my YouTube channel, make sure everything's working, right? We call these milestones. They're markers along the way, and then you're not saying what you're going to do to get to the milestone. You're just setting the milestone for yourself, and then you're just in your own way getting what needs to be done there.
Copy that.
The other way is to map that out. What are the steps I need to do to get to that milestone? Right. And you may even do that real time, like when you're like, all right, great, I'm going to work on that milestone, and just jot down the thoughts in your head. I need to do this, this, and this, and this.
Right.
Okay. So there's this whole hierarchy: objectives, key results, projects, and then the little actions that you're taking to meet the projects.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay, great. And so one of the things, and I imagine we're running out of time now, but one of the things I just want to leave you with is that in the absence of having some basic structure to capture what is in our minds, in our hearts to do, and then clearly articulating, hey, what it is that I want to do and how will I know that I've gotten there, and actually what's the work I need to do to get there, it will just stay as an idea.
Right.
Right? There's no way it's going to get done. You have to have it written down, and you have to have some clarity on what you're doing, and then some feedback loops to make sure that you're actually producing what you intended to produce in order for it to come to life. And that's really why I designed, why I do what I do, is because I want people to be able to take what is in them to make real and have a process to actually make it real.
Yes. So valuable, particularly now.
And there's so much, like, amongst all the things that are not working right now, any time like this is of great change. And when there's change, there's opportunity, there's creativity. Like, how do we problem solve? And like in that, it's like the perfect time for this process, because it can't be just an idea. It has to be turned into reality quickly.
And I know that, like you said at the beginning, that this has existed before, and people already know this in their minds as something that needs to be done. But when it does get overwhelming, like now, like ever, whether it's your family or your business or something you're starting new, it really does help to be reminded, I need to actually contemplate the layout of my structure so that I can fulfill on my deepest desire.
Yes, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and just speaking to that a little bit more, there's some expression that 1 minute of planning saves 10 minutes of execution. And mostly we don't plan well, and then it takes us 10 times long to get it done.
So true.
In this process, there's at least a 50% increase in productivity, meaning people would get done. I've even had 100% increase in productivity. They're like, we got done in 3 months what it would have taken us 6. And it's just because you got clear and aligned on what you're doing, and not like just changing direction all the time. It's not to say that you can't be informed along the way and pivot again.
Yes.
Right. But you have to get clear and just pause and get conscious and write it down and create the plan, and then start getting into action and learn. And then you can modify as you do learn.
So Raj takes this into companies that have thousands of employees and does this exact same concept with them, and it totally transforms that company. You can take this same template and transform just your own little private me project, or you can put it on your family. So I just think it's great, and great that you're here, and great that you have this mind. Your little left-right brains, they get along so well, don't they?
They like to play, yeah.
Where can they do? They play well together. Where can people find you, Raj? If someone wanted to come and join your webinar that you have going for a free short time, just tell us all the ways that people can find you.
Great. So first place you can go is to my website, and it's Go Transformance. So Go, and then transformance.com. So it's transformed performance. GoTransformance.com.
Boom.
Okay. And you can schedule a call with me on there. There's call links. There's also links to register for my webinar series, both on this OKR method, but also on leading virtual teams and being productive at home, which we're all having to navigate now, so I have a whole bunch of tips to do that. So you can go to the website. If you want to shoot me an email, just put the name Raj, R-A-J, in front of @gotransformance.com. So Raj@gotransformance.com. And you can find me that way. Find me on Facebook if you want and message me.
Instagram, are you just Raj Sundra on these places? Or Go Transformance?
I'm not actually up on Instagram right now, which I know is something I need to do. Maybe you can help me with that.
I don't even know how to spell Twitter.
Yeah, that's okay. So just website or email is best right now.
Yeah, okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Love and health and calm, peaceful, constructive creations to you and your family.
Thank you so much.
Be well. Thank you so much, Raj. Thank you so much to our viewers for joining us, and our listeners for joining us today. I hope there's been some nuggets in there for you that you feel like you're inspired to sit down right now at your page with a pen in your hand and create something that's going to set you and your family right. If you watch the YouTube episode, we'll have some of those sheets and slides up there for you to take a look at, so you have a template to work from. Feel free to leave me some comments if you need to be connected with Raj or me in any way, or about this work any further. Thank you to Will, my fantastic husband and excellent camera, sound and Zoom operator. He is gold. And please leave us a review on iTunes and follow me on Instagram. It's Extraordinaires Podcast and Extraordinaires Pod on Facebook. Thanks so much to everyone. Stay well, take care of each other, be kind to yourself, because you are an extraordinaire. Extraordinaire.